All right, we're here one-on-one in the Zig Zone with BGSU tight end Jacob Harris. Jacob, thanks for being here.
Thank you guys.
First of all, man, how's the season been going for you?
Pretty good. It's been super exciting. This is my first year really starting to make an impact on the field. I played here and there last year, but obviously with Harold, he was the guy, and so I just kind of came in to, you know, take a couple plays off his legs so he could get back. But this year has been super fun so far.
And talk a little bit more about this year. I mean, big touchdown catch the first of your career against Liberty, and then a 46-yarder as well at Louisville. What's it like to find the end zone for the first time? Is it really gratifying for you?
Man, it's like all the time leading up, finally paying off. So it feels really, really good. Just kind of being able to get back out there and doing the things that I love, trying to get some of that confidence back that you had coming into college, and then when you're sitting for a while, it's kind of hard.
For sure. And you talk about sitting for a while. I mean, you look at a tight end room last year, Harold Finn, guy playing on Sundays right now, and even the veteran Levi Gazaric, local product and fifth year, with a lot of experience. What kinds of things did you learn from being in the locker room with those guys?
Oh man, I was able to learn a ton from those guys. Just how to practice, the ins and outs of the position, because coming out of high school, I was playing receiver. So transitioning to tight end, the blocking aspect especially was a little bit tough, and then like the football 101 stuff that I didn't necessarily have to worry about at receiver. That stuff was huge, and those guys helped me out a ton.
Talk a little bit about that change. Coming out of high school as a receiver and kind of converting to tight end. What did that look like for you?
Like I said, blocking was the biggest part, and then obviously I had to put on weight. I think I've put on like 45 pounds since I got here, and so not only putting on the weight, but then learning how to use it, kind of readjusting to my body again was a big part for me, and then just the little small details about playing tight end, fundamentals and stuff like that.
And how do you think, coming into your own and really learning, your skills at this position, can benefit the offense and the team for you?
Obviously, being a bigger guy, I think I create some matchup problems. Um, Going back to the Liberty game, we're down there in the red zone. My coach, Dwayne Alexander, he's our tight ends guy. He asked me, "Do you like the matchup?" I said, "I love it." And then we threw the ball up, and then I was able to go make a play. But using my size to my advantage, just having a guy that doesn't even necessarily have to be open, but he's going to be able to box the guy out and be able to go make the play at the point of attack. But just being that, and then you know you make a couple plays, defense starts adjusting, and that opens up stuff, on the other parts of the field. So I think that is the biggest thing that I bring to the table, and the same with a lot of our other guys as well. We have a really deep tight end room.
And talk a little bit, that Liberty game, really big marquee win for the team for this season. And, you've been with the program for a couple of years now, for homecoming in particular to get that win. How special was that for you?
That was awesome. I mean, I hadn't been here in the time that I had been here. We hadn't had a homecoming win. I don't know how long it had been before that, but when we're pulling in and you see a ton of people out in the parking lot tailgating, and you get in the stadium and the student section is packed out and super loud, and the environment is awesome. You want to be able to reward the fans and the community with a victory, and I'm just glad we were able to do that.
And you talk about that environment, the passionate fan base there. I think this year, anybody who's been to the Dwight can tell you it's been as passionate as ever. And I know a lot of that comes along with the arrival of Coach Eddie George. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about his impact in the locker room.
Uh, I mean, to be able to see the culture shift, and just how, I mean, I've said it from the beginning. This is the most connected I think we've been as a team since I've got here. In my room, I can feel it in my room, and then it even extends outside of your position groups, where you know you feel just as connected with the other guys as you do with the guys that you are spending the most time with. And I think when you have that relationship with your other teammates, it allows you to trust them more, and that guy is going to do his job, so you can go do your job.
I think fans would probably expect it, seeing the name Eddie George as the coach. But you guys this year have really committed to a strong running game. What's that like for you as a player who is a pass catcher but also contributes heavily in that running game?
It sets the tone, and the run game opens things up for the pass, and so you got to do both. You can't just pick one. So our backs are outstanding. We have a crazy depth in that room as well. I mean, when you could sub guys in and there's no drop off, and just you could just keep going at them, the defense doesn't get a chance to rest. And so those guys have done a great job so far throughout the season.
Talk a little bit about the environment that you've been playing in, in these home games at the Doit, and how that's impacted the game and the support you felt.
I mean, you can just coming out, you can feel the energy. It's super positive. Obviously, everybody dreams of like growing up playing big games. Stadiums loud and crowd cheering, going crazy and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a home field advantage for a reason. So to be able to have such a strong home team like presence in the stands is huge, and the fans have done a phenomenal job so far.
You talked about the vibe in the locker room being very together, everyone's on the same page. How do you carry that into the rest of this MAC slate? What's the confidence level going into the rest of this MAC schedule?
Yeah, it's more important now than ever, really. This is when starting last week was when our real season starts. Obviously you want to win those games. Um, Ideally, we would like to be undefeated. You want to win those games early on, but I mean, in terms of MAC championship and stuff like that, the things that we all strive for, now is the time, and it's really crunch time now, and that togetherness is what's going to carry you through November, because along the way you're going to have adversity that you're going to have to face, and our ability to stay together, stay the course, keep our goals the main thing, is going to be the deciding factor.
Absolutely. Looking at a team like yours, there's always going to be in this day and age, losses in the transfer portal, losses to the NFL and graduation. And in the first year of a new head coach, I think a lot of people from the outside thought that, BG might take a step back, but it doesn't feel like in mindset that's happened at all in the locker room. Why do you think that is?
Um, you know, Combining the guys that we had already with the talent that we've been able to get out of the portal, we didn't feel like we have never really felt like it was going to be some sort of like rebuild or anything like that. I mean, we have so much talent on our team, and we just have to. The tough part is with the portal is getting that culture. That is what has really killed it. A lot of places is the portal. You got new guys, so many new guys in every year. You don't really have a chance to build a culture, but that is one of the things that we really honed in on even from the beginning. We made it a point to get to know each other and make sure that we had a bond and it wasn't just transactional.
Has that been a point of emphasis, in the locker room and from the leaders on the team as well? Kind of getting everybody unified under these same ideas.
Yes, I mean we do like every day of the week we have a different position group that'll come up and do a presentation. The commitments, the 5 commitments to being a good teammate, and you know one of the things that comes up a lot is we all challenge each other to outside of the building and outside of your position group. Obviously, you want to spend time with those guys too, but outside of your position group, find some time to connect with your teammates and, do something outside of the facility just to be building that stronger bond outside of football.
Well, you're, really starting to shape your own name here as a Falcon, getting some touchdowns and really contributing heavily for this team, a really important role. And obviously, your dad, a well-known Bowling Green legend in his own right as well. Talk about that, how that kind of affected you coming to Bowling Green and, how the community, how you felt that as well.
Um, you know, I think it's been awesome. You grow up. I'll play the old college football games as a kid, and I'm recreating his team from back in the day. So being able to come here and play in the same stadium where his jersey number is up in the top of, and just being able to look up and see that every day in practice and then during the games, is really really cool. These are the things that you dream about really, and so to have an opportunity to not just be here but now start to make an impact and make a bit of a name for myself. um, Obviously coming in, you have big shoes to fill, but I don't really even look at it that way. It's more of an opportunity for me, to kind of write my own story, and then with Harold, you got that coming in as well. So I've just taken it as an opportunity to kind of make a name for myself and put myself on the map in that regard.
And plenty of players don't come from a family with a football pedigree like that, and plenty do. How has that shaped you as a player? Even from a young age, growing up and first getting into the sport to the big contributor that you are now.
Yeah, I mean, even as a kid, my dad has always kept it super real with me and my little brother, and so there's no sugarcoating in our household. I started off playing quarterback because I wanted to play quarterback like he did. That went well for a while, and then you know, he said the game started speeding up. I don't process information fast enough to be a quarterback, so I moved to receiver. That we had success at receiver, and that's kind of where I found my lane. That was where I found um, I had the most success. He's always been, you just kind of put him out there and see what he's best at, and then we adjust with that. He's never tried to make me or mold me into something that I'm not necessarily. So, we found our path to receiver, and then being able to play receiver but have the quarterback perspective, I think was really good for my development. You always, if you're on the same page with the quarterback, you're more likely to get the ball, and the connection between you and the quarterback can be better. And so, being able to have that quarterback perspective in the back of my mind helps me um, as a pass catcher to be able to make things easier on Drew because I know those guys have a lot of stuff on their mind, and having to wonder where I'm at or where I'm going to be breaking is just not something that needs to be added on to that. So I try to make it as easy on the quarterback as possible.
I'd be remiss if I didn't, talk about the fact that, in a bye week right now, how important is that timing to you? And do you think it is to the team?
Yeah, I think it's obviously we got some guys banged up in the past couple games, and so the bye week has allowed us to get our bodies back, and especially I think it couldn't have come at a better time, especially going into the big rivalry game next week, and then the rest of MAC play. I think this was really perfectly timed. It allows us to get our bodies back, kind of get back on track following the loss to Ohio, um, fine tune some things that we felt like we need to fix, and I think we're going to have a really good plan and a really good rest of the season.
You've been around BG for a while. Obviously, your dad played here, as we said, and also, we've been with the team with a couple of seasons. But now this is kind of your first battle of I-75 as one of the go-to guys. How excited are you to get out there, especially with this home crowd?
I am super excited, especially at home. This is I've been looking forward to this for a while now. So I played a little bit in the last year's game, but obviously not even close to the extent that it'll be this year. So I'm excited to get out there and make an impact on the game and come out with a victory.
What's the number one message in the locker room to the guys from the coaching staff going into that rivalry game next weekend?
Really, we don't have to do anything special. We have to play to our ability. Um, we believe we are the better team, and so we just have to execute that and show that on the field. So really, all of the games that we've played so far, it hasn't been anything world changing that the other team has done. We've beat ourselves. We got to be more consistent. We got to finish in the red zone. We have to. There's a bunch of things that we got to fix up, but the main focus for us has always been us, and it will continue to be us.
What do you think is the standard or also the ceiling for this team for the rest of the year?
I think that the ceiling, really, the possibilities are endless. We believe that we're a championship caliber team. We have championship caliber talent on our team. It is about us doing what we need to do and doing it consistently. And if we do that, I think that you know Ohio is another one of the top teams. I think we might get another shot.
Is there anything else about you about this team that you think the BG fans should know?
Um, I would say, oof, that's a tough one. For me personally, um, I'm just super excited that I get to be out here. It really is a blessing, and I've loved the opportunity to be out here in front of the fans and being able to impact the game in the way that I have so far, and just hoping to keep it going in the right direction. And the team is in the same boat where we've shown some flashes of good things. We've given people things to be excited about and look forward to, and we just have to keep providing that and at a higher level.
A lot to look forward to. Really exciting battle of I-75 to watch ahead for. So thanks for being here, Jacob. This has been Jacob Harris, one-on-one in the Zig Zone.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, man.